Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, and welcome to another episode of Fanalysis, Avatar: The Last Airbender. I am Reti4, this is Greyjoy91,
Hello.
and this is Antoine Bandelay.
Be water, my friends.
Matt, summary for this episode.
Uh,
It's a rather unique one
no.
today.
It's book 2, episode 15, Tales of Ba Sing Se. There'd be like 6 different summaries. So it's just like a bunch of short
Well,
stories.
it's an anthology.
Yeah, an
so-
anthology
They
of
are
tales.
summaries. Yeah, that's true. Anthology of tales that take place in Ba Sing Se. And I guess the most interesting thing is it's the only time that all these people, for the most part, are pretty much enjoying their time in this city.
Right.
That's what I can say about it. That binds all of them, really. But anyway, do you want to take it away with the first one, Toph and Katara's tale?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much just their month that they have to spend in Bossing Sane. So it's just about. It is a filler episode, like I would say by definition, but it's a filler episode that's done right, in my opinion, because it shows us more character out of it, and I enjoy pretty much all of the tales, even the Momo tale. I know we did the Lost Adventures comic, and we're like, what the hell was that two page spread comic or that we read? But for this one, I actually did enjoy the Momo one. But yeah, first we have the Toph and Katara one, which is based on Toph kind of, being kind of like tomboyish and everything and getting dolled up. I forget what is she getting dolled up for, or is it just in general?
Nothing. It's just sort of Katara being like, "Hey, let me help you."
Oh, let's be girls.
Let's have a girls' night, yeah.
Because everyone was doing like their morning routine, and Toph was like a mess and was happy that way and wanted to be left alone that way.
Oh yeah, she's like, I have
Needed
a healthy
intervention.
coat of earth or something like that.
Yeah.
Was
I understand. Katara wanted to step in a little bit there. I understand the whole Earth thing with Toph, but you can take a bath at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with Katara on that one. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. It was a small piece, probably one of the smallest in terms of the scale of the other tales, I think, except maybe Sokka's.
Sokka's
But it was but it was nice to see the other shade of Toph. We've talked before how Toph doesn't really develop as a character. She kind of just very slightly gets chipped away or refined, and the world kind of more often changes around her. But this is one of the examples where you see that kind of that shell that she has crack a little bit, and I like the kind of new dimensions it adds to the character, and shows that she is vulnerable. She is still this child that needs to still needs to grow a little bit, and in a good way. I've really enjoyed this part.
Because you would assume that she doesn't give a darn tootin' about like what the other girls think of her.
Precisely.
But you see that little sliver.
But
of,
everybody
like,
does.
I do kind of care though.
Everybody does. Some people say they
everybody
don't.
does.
And some people often don't care. But there are those times, those small moments, even just throughout life, where that shell will crack, and it doesn't take much to do it sometimes. And I like how it happens.
It's kind of there are a lot of nuances in it, like not to be like super pretentious and overanalyze it, but the fact that she believed them when she said that when they said that she looked good, and then she was like, "Oh, thanks," and then they were like, "Yeah, not really."
Yeah,
maybe
that's
even like
brutal.
mad at herself, like mad at herself for believing it, even though, that
Daring
which
to
she
hope.
shouldn't be. But there's it's that kind of thing. And also, she says something along the lines of she's not looking for anyone's approval, which in terms of how she looks is probably generally pretty true. She probably doesn't care about that normally, but she definitely has lived without her parents' approval for what she really is, like, throughout her life. So that's something she's kind of just saying. But there's strong words, but there's a tenderness underneath that for sure. But is it the first Toph Katara bonding moment?
One of. I was thinking. I was questioning how much it was the not the first, but one of the first time she gets smacked in the arm as well. I noticed. Oh, it's a Toph affectionate punch. At the very end, that was something I wasn't sure she's done for Katara yet. But it was a really nice moment, regardless, even if it wasn't the first. Although I'm pretty sure it was.
There are 6 of these tales. This is like one of the ones I enjoy more, I would say.
Yeah, I think this is my number 3. I would say. Yeah, if I would rank, well, let's rank them at the end. At the end, we'll rank
at the end. Yeah,
we'll do a mini ranking.
But it was, it's a really satisfying short story. I think it's an appropriate one that it focuses on Toph as well, because Katara doesn't need one, particularly here, but at the same time gets one for the fact that she's comforting Toph. She's fulfilling her role in the group. So it's good to see that. The one thing I'd say is I really wish the makeup had been better. I wish it would have. The point would have stood better if they actually looked pretty, because they look just terrifying, like in terms of their.
Which is exactly
makeup.
the same way they looked like in the previous episode. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but it's the same makeup scheme.
Similar.
Yeah,
similar, but because of the lack of everything else.
Toph, because her face is kind of she kind of the way she carries herself, and like she didn't look as bad, but like Katara really did look like she was wearing a clown.
Yeah,
like,
it's
like,
horrible.
I was like, will you just take that off, please? But anyway, I do want to say though real quick, because you mentioned how it's like kind of filler, and I remember that might be in my head. I was kind of frustrated with this episode based on memory, because I remembered when the show was airing and like looking forward to like the
I
next
can be
one.
annoyed by this if it was week to week.
Huh? Yeah, and when it was week to week, and it wasn't immediately apparent to me what this was when it said Tales of Ba Sing Se. But then when this just ended, I was like, no, it's filler. But I mean, because it took me, I gave it a good chance before I decided, oh, this is what it is. But it is good filler.
It gives you a sliver of a bridge into what happens next with the Appa thing at the end. But yeah, apart from that, it is very much is. But again, as Antoine said, I don't have any issue with filler as long as it's good, and this is an example of good filler. And obviously, as long as it doesn't keep happening, because there are certain stories that like to put 40 episodes of a boat arc in the middle of a story. But yeah,
I don't watch those shows.
I don't either in general, but they happen sometimes. Following on with the next tale, which I think is most people's favorite because it stands out as being I don't actually think it was that far above the others. Like some of the other good ones in the out of these 6, I think are very much near its territory in terms of quality. The main reason it stands out is because 1, it's Iroh, and 2, the emotional beat it hits. I think it kind of overshadows it for that.
And I always forget that it's not the end of the episode as well.
Yes,
I always forget that it's here.
It's because when you see like all of those little clips online, or the AMVs or whatever, it's always the focus. So you never really think about the others anywhere near as much. It's kind of that drifting last shot of the tree.
I forget. It's pretty much the only moment I ever remember, like until I rewatch this, because I don't rewatch this episode all the time because this scene kind of makes me sad, and I don't often feel like, oh, I want to be sad right now. Let's watch this episode. So I tend to not watch this as often as certain other episodes. So I forget about all the little things he does, like helping out like the village. So that was nice seeing that stuff again. Like, oh, this flower needs to be in partial shade, and like helping the kids with like that gigantic man.
Yeah, but this is not one of them. Run away.
Or the comedy of telling this mugger how to
life coaching. Yeah, please.
But that man, they had to have built the building around him. Like his face was bigger than the window. Also, did anyone notice that wasn't Mako? He must have passed away.
Oh, what? Okay, so the voice in this episode. Okay, we were wondering about that.
No. The whole episode is him, aside from that scene where he helps the kids, where he's like, most times it's best to blah blah blah. But not this time. That's not him. That's the new guy. That they must have done that bit after he passed away already.
I've always stood by the fact that the new guy did a very good job. You can tell it's different, but it's not like a glaring change for me, which I think is very effective given the voice he was replacing. I
think it's the only time that it's both of them in one episode. I think every other time is one or the other completely. So that's why
I didn't notice that, but I did notice something in Appa's Lost Days, which I'll bring up later.
Also, the guy, the mugger he helps out, he was in like the lower ring earlier, like when Judy or
he's one of the
when they were coming in and they were sharpening, sharpening his blade.
Mugger Taicho. I just love the fact that he gets mugged and defeats the mugger and then teaches him how to mug people better. It's just classic Iroh.
But that would be ridiculous if he left it at that.
Yeah, he then actually.
No, he's like, you should be. What are you doing?
What are you doing? You don't seem the criminal type. I love it. And obviously that leads us in. What other thing worthy of note is the fact that he sings to the kid the same song at the end. You get that kind of lead into the musical piece that he brings in a completely different tone, which makes it even more effective, I think. Although it's somewhat strange that he just grabs I don't know if he bought it, but he just grabs the loot and starts walking over to him from the stall. I want to see whether or not he actually paid for that. It'd be interesting to see if he kept it for later. But yeah, he kind of sues the kid in the same musical piece that we get to experience at the end, where the real meat of the story appears, and he climbs the Ba Sing Se hill for that wonderful sunset shot to pay his respects to his son. And yeah, it's what can you say about it really? I mean, it's a gorgeous shot. It's Mako singing again, so it's beautiful, and yeah, it's in its own kind of haunting way. And yeah, it's
all I can really say cool about it is that it's funny. It's funny that he hated singing. So much.
They kept making him do it because it sounded so great, and he just did not like it. I think it was the storm. You mentioned that before.
Yep, I heard it from the commentary. I don't know when they brought that up, but yeah, it was like it was sometime when they were in the Water Tribe, because when he had that song on Music Night, that's what.
When they were on the ship together.
Yeah, when they were dancing.
When the dudes were dancing, exactly.
Yeah.
4 seasons. Okay, so
but that's the tale of Iroh, pretty much.
everyone knows it. It's just that beautiful hilltop shot with poor
Mm-hmm.
Iroh crying as he sings. There's not much to say other than it's amazing.
And then next was the tale of Aang with
Indeed,
the zoo.
probably my least favorite, to be honest.
I would say,
or after Momo. Momo kind of is kind of on par with this, only because it's Momo. For me, it was cool to see the large scale earthbending he was doing. I think it's the largest scale we've seen from him thus far.
I like him doing it in combination with airbending, like on his scooter. Like that was cool.
I think there was some water in there too, if I'm not mistaken, because of the pools and the
pools,
boats he had to make and everything.
Probably.
And
I can't
So he was
remember,
using
but I feel
everything
like
that he
it's
could
funny.
use except for firebending.
But yeah, in terms of a
The one
story,
thing
it's just Aang, helping to create a zoo.
Yeah.
That's literally it. Effectively.
I thought it was interesting though that I think this is the last time Cabbage Man is in the show. Like,
Oh,
actually
is it
doing his
really?
Cabbage
That's
Man
true
thing.
because they're
Yeah.
always in the Fire Nation. So why would they say?
Yeah,
it?
so it's like and it's kind of a fun little informal send off for him because he goes, "Oh, forget it." Like,
Oh, that's true.
So I think they are done with him. He definitely is mentioned because they mentioned him during the play episode, and also he become like some kind of industrialist, right? Like like Korra.
Yeah, he makes a cabbage corp.
Yeah, so
Which
so that
I
happened all
called
off
the mile
screen.
off, by the way, that one. I was like, that's going to happen, inevitably.
You knew he was going to be a corporatist, like
I knew
rich guy,
there would
or
be
that-
something like a cabbage corp in Korra. I called it to my friends before we started watching it. I was like, yep,
I don't
called
believe
it.
you. I don't believe that, but anyway,
Especially with Republic City and all that.
But anyway, but yeah, so that happened. Like the actual thing, I thought it was funny that the guy, he went up to the guards and he was like, "You have to open this gate," and they're like, "Or what?" And he said, "Or that." It's like, what? A bunch of animals are gonna like hit the wall? Well, who cares? That's what I would have thought. But anyway,
So yeah, the next one is the Tale of Sokka.
It's basically a
Which
rap
is
battle.
basically, yeah,
That was totally
haiku battle, which I don't really like haikus in general, or poetry when spoken, to be honest. It has to be very particularly kind, and this was it. I loved it. The from the woman who's bringing this really kind of elegant, well refined, quote unquote subtlety to her put downs, to Sokka, just complete improvisation and perfect Sokkadom. And yeah, the room kind of falling in love with him as every.
Oh,
single
at first
one
when
does.
he made the thing about the ladies, I thought that he offended them because what was the line? I forget that Sokka says about the ladies. He's like blah 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 something, ladies. Like his last haiku because he messed up because it wasn't the right syllable count or whatever. I thought initially it was because he offended them or something to that effect. But then I realized I was like, oh, it's because he messed up the haiku.
Yeah, just got
I
one.
thought it was like, oh, you went too far, man.
Flew too close to the sun.
this is a lot of people like this scene, and I think it's fine. I don't feel strongly about it myself, but it is creative.
It's not one that I
just how
get
many
much of an
guys are
emotional response from, but it's just the skill involved. Oh, that's really cool. They put a lot of effort into that.
No, but, like I mean, like you liked it, and I've heard many people say they like it, and I get why. It's just for me, I feel like I'm like on the outside of that a little bit.
Yeah. Most of it comes from the fact that I so dislike this kind of thing generally. So it was like, oh, okay, the fact that I don't hear that says something. I'm pretty much ambivalent in the rest of that style. But yeah, it's a short one. It's a nice, funny little soccer moment because it's based on humor mostly, and yeah, I just liked it. Not much else to say there. Good haikus, and the tale of Zuko, the brilliant and yet cringeworthy tale of Zuko for this one. Because Jin is bringing everything that she should be to the table, and it's just like talking to a brick wall.
It's playing back into his arc too. I feel like because we had the previous thing of him not really wanting to be here. It's one of the few I feel like anthology pieces that we have of this that actually stems from something that preceded and then actually continues on like further on of him. At least trying to be okay with just being in one place and finding happiness, especially when it's coming towards him. Like this girl is coming to the shop to see him. Like, let it be. Like, do live life a little bit.
Go with the flow.
be like an Iroh for a day.
I still kind of prefer her for him.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I think a lot of people do.
I don't.
She is a fan favorite.
I don't know. I'm not on Reddit and stuff. I don't read forums and stuff. But like May, as the main characters go, she's just so blah to me. And like this girl, she's only here for like 2 minutes or however long it is, and she's just more fun. She reminds me a little bit like what I think Korra would be like if she didn't have a destiny and wasn't like an avatar. She's just kind of like a fun
before the boundless
it might be
confidence kind of
possible.
kicked in.
it is very much possible that they got back together because he and May don't work out later on in the comics. So I mean, we don't know who the wife.
It would be very like, oh yeah, let's go back to make that call back to the one person you used to know. I feel like it's just better left alone personally in terms of the overall story. As much as I would like the idea,
it's possible, but it could be that he finds someone like her, in the Fire Nation.
Yeah, for sure. I just like how real she feels. Like she's very much like a real person in this, and it's a very short space of time that she's given to be a character, which I think is why so many people resonate with her as a character. But yeah, she does everything right, like to a great degree, and it kind of until the very end it doesn't really work. And I love the thing that does bring Zuko out, like the fact that he's he doesn't want her to feel bad, so he's like, okay, fine, it's the empathy again,
and being able to do something for her,
right. And the fact that it's firebending, a little bit of a risk. He's exposing himself both emotionally and physically in this scene, which is really.
And
effective.
At the end, him begrudgingly saying that he had a good time, he tried his best to actively have a time, and then him opening the slide door. I had a good time. Yeah. Doing his very Zuko thing.
It's such a perfect Zuko Iroh moment. It's like I was like, oh god, here we go, and then yep, there we go. Hope he's brilliant. He's made progress. Today is a good day. It was very Zuko, and I really enjoyed it.
I always feel like a broken record just saying I like the Zuko parts, but it's true in this one.
They're just good. They're just good. Never gets old.
Zuko's great.
But yeah, then moving on to the last one, Tale of Momo, which is pretty intense, actually. I'd forgotten how kind of high stakes, high pace it was in terms of the execution. It was very effective musically and with the visuals.
Are they actually called cat panthers, or are they panther cats? I don't know what the thing is.
I don't know, but I would hope
Avatar
panther cats, because that sounds better.
Because that moment where I think there was one point where he's flying away, and it's like, okay, cool, he's gonna get away, but he gets smacked down. I'm like, oh my god, Momo, you're about to die. Like it really felt like some actual terror was part of that sequence. Especially being a wild animal. I've always thought, this is just crazy thought of Antoine, but I'll think sometimes about being an insect some days, or just being a prey animal, and being that come from? Life has to be, or even okay, the other day I just saw a squirrel, right? And just the fact that I walked by it and it was just freaking out, I was like, I don't think that way. But for that squirrel who lives his life as a squirrel who has to deal with raccoons and possums and cats all day or whatever he has to do, I get it. That's a scary ass life. You know what I mean? Stressful. And I felt it for a moment for Momo. Yeah, it's high stress to deal with, being that kind of a creature in the world.
You're being empathetic, Ant-Man.
You're not alone. One of my coworkers said the same kind of thing for me, but he expressed it just as strangely as you did, though. I mean, it's just a weird thought to have. It's one of those things you start saying, so maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it.
It's scary, man. Scary life.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other thing as well, Momo dance. We get the Momo dance finally in the show again.
I don't think that music will play ever again either. I don't recall it after.
Doesn't it happen in the dream sequence at some point?
Well, he already had the dream sequence with that.
No, I mean with
about
the dream sequence.
One episode,
yeah,
where Aang's tripping the whole episode.
Maybe possibly.
It might have come up with that. I don't know.
I don't think it does.
Either way, though, this is the scene that it is most memorable for me. It's happened a few times before and in very effective ways. But yeah, here is just the classic one because of how obviously over the top it is. But yeah, apart from that, the main thing that the little story leaves for me is the fact that it ends on Appa's footprint, which is sad, and also a connection to the next episode.
He just missed him.
And a very effective musical tone as well as it ends on. It kind of pans away, that kind of lilting music. It's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think of the episode overall, all the different styles of tales? Because I really like this in terms of storytelling approach, and also the fact that they did a good job with all of them, pretty much, in different ways.
Not to be Debbie Downer, I like it, but I don't think I like it as much as most people who like this episode. I really don't think this would be in my top 10 of book 2, even though I like it. But
yeah, I'm interested to see if it'll make mine, actually. When I go through and check them all out, I want to see if it does actually make the cut. I want it to, for sure, because I really enjoyed the episode.
It might border.
Yeah, it'll be top end,
depending.
probably. Because there are so many good ones in this season. It's like I say, it's my favorite season for a reason. But yeah, so how would you rank them then, roughly?
I'll go second. How about that? Somebody else.
All right, I'll go first. So my top, and similar to Callan, I don't put Tale of Iroh significantly above the others. I think it's just slightly above the Zuko tale. So I have Iroh first, and then Zuko's tale. And after that would be Toph and Katara. Then probably Sokka, because I really, really do like the haiku rap battle. That really did it for me. And then I actually would put Tale of Momo next, and then the Tale of Aang with the zoo stuff, because I don't think I engage as much with the zoo stuff as I did with the others.
Exact same order as me then.
Yeah. Okay. I was
Sorry,
second,
Matt. Sorry, but just because
the order
was the same.
It works out because I'm going to say the same thing. Only I am like a little bit more neutral on the Sokka one. I like sort of baldly enjoy it, or like I enjoy it in.
I was surprised at how much I
sense.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like there for me. It's like, oh,
I'd forgotten how good the haikus were though, because they're really clever. Considering that that's not what the show creators, are going to be known for in particular. It's cool,
and it's interesting too because haikus are very much Japanese, and there's not too many Japanese leanings. It's usually Chinese.
Boring. Usually they're so easy to get wrong, and these ones are mostly good. So that's cool. But yeah, that's the Tales of Ba Sing Se. A bit of an odd episode. Not having to cover scene by scene and more just the general tales. It makes it more convenient for us at least. I enjoyed the episode. Looking forward to see where it places in the top 10 when we get to that in the end of the season. And yeah, let us know in the comments down below anything you thought we've missed or want to cover in greater detail. I am Retty 4 and I still don't have an outro.
Greater than 91.
He enjoys these guys, honestly, in his own way.
He really does. He really does. Antoine Benedele, peace, love, and remember, be water, my friends.
Goodbye.